Live from Jibonge Newsroom, my name is Elizabeth Knight. Welcome to Elght Lens, your source for news, special reports, and analysis. For the next 25 minutes, we unpack the stories that define our nation, law, technology, and humanity. Debate intensifies over Kenya's shift to CBC as parents warn the new system may be deepening education inequality. Kenya on high alert as cyber attacks attempts surpasses 600 million, targeting banks, universities, and mobile money users. Deadly rains and landslides displaces families across the highlands, disrupting learning and putting children's right to education at risk. As refugees' numbers rises, questions emerge over Kenya's regional peacekeeping role and the balance between security and human rights. Join the conversation using our social media handles: Facebook at Elght Newsroom, Twitter at Elght Lens, and hashtag Kenya in Focus. A growing number of parents and education stakeholders say Kenya's transition from the 844 system to the competence-based curriculum may be creating societal split in the education sector. Critics argue that the wealthier schools are benefiting more than the others. Abigail Kezia having the latest.
The debate around the shift from 844 to CBC has intensified, with parents, teachers, and policymakers expressing sharply different views. Here in Nairobi, many say the new system favors schools with more resources, creating an education divide that could grow if not addressed. Abigail Kezia, Jibonge TV, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Kezia. In the studio with us, we have Mwalimu Cecilia Murimi, a HOD Mathematics Jonathan Glog, talking to us about growing concerns that the transition from the 844 system to the competence-based curriculum and education framework, that is CBC or CBE, may be created in the Kenya's education sector. Karibu sana Mwalimu. Mwalimu, there is a growing concern that the split from 844 to CBC or CBE is widening the gap between the well-resourced and the under-resourced schools. Are you concerned that this transition is contributing to a societal split?
When we look at CBC and 844, there is one thing that I feel has come out very clearly. It has widened the gap between the rich and the poor. In which way? Most of the things maybe we expected to purchase items for our children, maybe print pictures for the children. You find that maybe those children who come from a very poor background, or even where there is no electricity, where people are still behind there, they may not be able to print those materials. So when I look at it, I find like those people from who are well-to-do, they have an upper hand as compared to those who are poor. Most of the materials require money. And when you look at most of the children, they come from very, very poor backgrounds. Meaning, the CBC could be addressing a very small percentage of the population of Kenya, because those are the people who can afford the same.
Mm-hmm. Do you see students gaining tools to navigate the Kenyan's economic realities?
Yeah, looking at the CBC, it's a very good system. When you look at most of the strategies in most of the learning areas, they concentrate on units like entrepreneurship. You find that that is a unit concentrated in business studies in grade 7, 8, and 9, which trains the learners on how to save money, how to save money, how they can invest the money, how they can identify a viable business opportunity. So these learners have an advantage. They have been trained, they have been prepared, they are prepared well for the outside world. When you look at even the lower grades, you find units like enterprise activities which prepare them. And you find even very young children talking about how can I make money? Can I maybe prepare some lemonade and make some coins from the same? So I feel most of the units in CBC prepare the learners for the world. We also have some units like in agriculture where we have knitting and crocheting, which makes learners to make things that they can sell and make some money. So I feel it is good.
Thank you so much, Mwalimu. As the transition continues, all eyes are on the Ministry of Education to ensure fairness and equal opportunities for every learner. Thank you for indulging me in the rather hefty and insightful conversation. Before we move to our next story, you can join us on our conversation on our social media handles, Facebook at Elght Newsroom, Twitter at Elght Lens, and hashtag Kenya in Focus. Kenya faces a record number of cyber attacks, that is like over 600 million attempts this year. Our special report, Ezra, examines how the country is responding.
From mobile money fraud to data breaches, cybersecurity is growing fast, and Communications Authority warns of nation-scale attacks. As the hackers grow more sophisticated, so do the responses. Cybersecurity experts say Kenya must continue investing in digital defenses and public awareness. Ezra Odhiambo, Jibonge TV, Nairobi.
Much appreciated, Ezra. To help us understand the scale of this threat and what Kenyans can do, we are joined by a cybersecurity expert. Please tell us your name and what your area of expertise are.
Okay, my name is Annette Wanjiru Maswai. I am a cybersecurity threat researcher at Safaricom.
So tell us, how serious is the current cyber threats facing Kenya right now?
The cyber threat landscape is quite serious. This is because there are many cyber threats that are hitting innocent users, and the penetration of the gadgets is quite high, and people are not quite aware of what to do to protect themselves. And the users are clicking on links and ending up questioning later what it is they clicked. So the lack of awareness of the threats makes the situation very serious.
We are seeing over 600 million attack attempts yearly. What is driving this sharp increase?
So the sharp increase in threats, it's because of people experimenting. We have script kiddies out there trying out their threat, and it's landing because there is high usage of devices. So there are many people, there is a wider target, and then there are incentives of if someone gets to click a link, the threat actor can monetize it. So there is the monetary benefit side of it.
What is the single most important action Kenyans should take today to secure their digital lives?
The first one is awareness. We are seeing a lot of phishing links. Phishing is where someone masquerades a page to be another page, or a website to be another. So the link is not what you think it is, or this user is not who you think they are. Someone has impersonated a user. So we need to be aware of this kind of attacks because they are breaching our trust. So it's social engineering. The social engineering bit of it enables the perpetrator to breach the security. The victim will easily click on a link or accept an invite, and they'll fill out their confidential information. So that will be the username, the password. In that way, their credentials can now be used to access their systems. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Annette. And that takes us to our first commercial break.
Trust Nivea Perfect and Radiant Body Lotion to reveal your skin's natural radiance.
Here are benefits to you on the resealable tape found on festive bread. It's easy to open and close for you and your whole family. No need for a storage container, since the bread is sealed and intact as is. The releasable tape keeps the bread fresh and also improves hygiene. No more tearing with the resealable tape on festive bread. Festive bread, dedicated to making quality, tasty and healthy bread. Open it, pick it, reseal it. DPL Festive Cares.
Karibu.
Soko ugali na kupenda na roho yangu tangu mama akupike sijaonja mwingine nashindwa na uzuri wako we na kupenda we soko nawe ladha tamu sijaonja mwingine nakupenda we soko.
Try the irresistible Soko Maize Meal that delivers every time. Soko Maize Meal, happiness in every pack.
Welcome back, viewers. For those joining us, my name is Elizabeth Knight and you are tuned in to Jibonge TV, and this is Elght Lens, your source for news, special reports and analysis. Join our conversations on our social media handles: Facebook at Elght Newsroom, Twitter at Elght Lens, hashtag Kenya in Focus. Kenya is grappling with intensifying rainfall that has triggered deadly landslides across the highlands. The worst hit regions include Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Narok and Cherangany Hills, where families have been displaced and roads cut off. Environmental experts warn that the saturated soils and weakened hillsides worsened by abnormal climate patterns and have left villagers vulnerable. Our correspondent, Misha Makau.
Several villages across the Cherangany Hills are now scenes of destruction after massive landslides rolled down steep slopes following relentless rainfall. The saturated soil gave way, burying homes and farmland in mud and debris. According to local leaders, entire families have been displaced and rescue teams are racing against time to reach cut-off communities with food, water and shelter now scarce. The situation has quickly escalated. Michelle Macau, Jibonge TV.
Thank you so much for that, Michelle. Dr. Clement, the Senior Deputy Chief Conservator of Forest, is calling for accelerated restoration efforts, including the 15 billion tree program.
The biggest challenge in achievement of the 15 billion tree growing campaign and restoration of degraded rangelands mainly is availability of financial resources. The strategy is very ambitious, where we need to raise and plant, as you have said rightly, 15 billion trees and even beyond. Because you see, you have to raise more, grow them, and those that survive, we are targeting to have achieved 15 billion. So that is a very ambitious target, which requires the technical expertise we have. Technical expertise is very available in Kenya Forest Service to provide the extension services, to provide the professional advice in the raising and the growing of the trees. Kenya Forestry Research Institute help us to mobilize the seeds that are required to be raised. Now we have a team of officers, professional officers, which are distributed all over the country. Every county in the Republic has an officer. Every sub-county has an officer. even if not from the national government, even those working in the county governments. And we also have technical officers that have been employed in the wider sector. These are officers that provide the technical expertise. But now, for us to mobilize the seeds, raise them into plantable and mature sizes, it needs a lot of money, monetary requirements. And this is the challenge that we are facing, not even only as Kenya Forest Service, even as a country. Monetary resources are always never sufficient or enough. We will always have challenges. So that is the main challenge that we face, of course, other than now, the natural climatic changes that give a lot of challenge in raising the seedlings and even growing them up.
With me is Ben Kitum, a Vice Chair, Cherangani Hills Ecosystem Organization, with more insights on the same. Karibu sana Bwana Ben. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am the Vice Chair of a community group called Cherangani Hills Conservation and Livelihoods Improvement Group. It's a group that was founded by some Marakwet professionals because of the endangered environment in the Cherangani Hills.
What is the current situation on the ground for the displaced families and children?
It is there. There are some families that those who manage to survive have no place to stay, have no food, have no clothing. So what is happening right now is that humanitarian groups are coming in to help the people in terms of settlement, medicine, shelter, things like that.
And what do you think is the immediate step that are being taken to help these people?
Right now, as we speak, is that the county government, the national government, and some humanitarian groups are helping the people cope with the situations. Some people are still missing. They are looking for the people. They are helping the people to bury their dead. They are helping the people to find food and shelter for their children and their families. Yeah, so that's what is happening right now.
Thank you so much for your time. Before we move to our next story, you can join our conversation on our social media handles: Facebook at Elght Newsroom, Twitter at Elght Lens, and hashtag Kenya in Focus. Kenya's role in regional peacekeeping is expanding even as refugees flow increase. Our final report looks at the human rights dimension. A map graphic shows conflicts routes and refugee paths across East Africa.
The Dadaab refugee camp in Kenya's northeastern province. Home to 300,000 people, it was set up by the UN in the early 90s for those fleeing civil war in neighboring Somalia. But 3 decades on, the continuing cycle of conflict and the worsening impact of climate change in the Horn of Africa mean that more and more people are still arriving each day. And the majority never leave.
From legal reforms to flood relief, Kenya's future depends on strong institutions and informed citizens. That takes us to our second commercial break here at Jibonge TV.
Dark marks keep coming back. New Garnier Vitamin C Day and Night Serums. Daily with the #1 Vitamin C Serum. At night, new 10% Vitamin C Serum. Twice as fast dark mark reduction. The Power Duo by Garnier, naturally.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists, for long-distance love, for the far-sighted, nearsighted, for introverts and extroverts, for the thinkers and the doers, for old friends. Coca-Cola, for everyone.
We have come to the end of our broadcast for today. Remember to keep commenting and tagging us on our social media. I have been your host, Elizabeth Knight. Until next time, stay tuned.